Hello and welcome to another edition of Con Life, this time collecting all the Instagram stories from Comicopolis 2022. This is a library show in Lockport, Illinois. This is the 6th iteration of this show, but it is the first show they've had in over 3 years. So they took a bit of a break during the pandemic. This was a really fun show for me. It was really good to be back at Comicopolis. I really enjoy the crowd that comes through this show. And normally there's a line out the door, but the first hour and a half of this show was drenched in rain, and I felt really bad for the outside vendors because they were pretty much soaked and none of the people were able to come see them. I think a few did, but once the rain dried up and the sun came out, so did all the people. Despite all that, it was still a fantastic show. I even did a panel where I talked about my creative process and some of the projects I worked on. And there were food trucks, there was a cosplay contest, music. You could hang out in front of the DeLorean and the 66 Batmobile. They also did a scavenger hunt, which was a lot different than some of the other scavenger hunts that these library shows have done before and that I've talked about and complained about before. But it was really cool. All you had to do was bring an item to donate to the scavenger hunt. You had a little tin, whether it was like a Folgers coffee can or just like an empty tin. And then every attendee got a ticket. And then you got to decide as an attendee where you'd want that ticket to go. And a lot of different artists and creatives were offering books to prints to stickers, stuff like that. It gave the attendee a chance to walk around, really look at the artist's table and also what they're offering, and decide where they want their ticket to go to. And I thought that was a really great way to do a scavenger hunt rather than, having like a stamp sheet and just walking around collecting stamps and not really engaging with the artists. Kudos to the Comicopolis staff for coming up with this really inventive way to encourage engagement and interaction with this version of a scavenger hunt. It's all based on, where you decide to put your golden ticket. So I thought that was really fascinating, and it did really encourage interaction between vendors and attendees. And especially when you show them what you were offering, and then, you can talk about it a bit, and then you could, segue into what else you have on your table. So I thought it presented a real great opportunity for not only the attendees to win something cool, but for the vendors to interact and meet new fans. The town really gets behind this event, and it's really cool to see it come together after all this time. So take a look at all these Instagram stories for Comicopolis 2022, and we will see you on the next. So it's the night before my next comic show, which is Comicopolis. And one of the things that I picked up from Kalayan Fest was this idea, the QR codes that made it so much easier to pay vendors for their services, for their products. I ended up doing this very last minute at the request of my wife. She was like, you should print this out and have it at your table. And it was such a huge help immensely. So for tomorrow's show and shows going forward, I decided to design a new ways to pay sign, and people can scan this for either PayPal or Venmo. They have my socials on here. They know that I take card and I also take Square. So this will be up at my table from now on. This was like a last minute addition. I whipped this up tonight and actually just got home from... I feel like I brought more stuff than I normally would need, but... Oh, look at all the parking already. Ooh, there's the stage. Morning. That's unfortunate. There's an Oreo inside there?
Yeah, apparently.
Okay. Oh.
I haven't eaten one yet, but.
I'll get the Joker bag. I'll get 2 of these and the Joker bag. Where's over? You got all that.
Yo, we got a panel going on right now. What? Where's everyone?
Everyone's outside, they're listening to School of Rock.
Am I even in here? Oh, there I am.
Can you look real quick?
Yeah, Finally made my way outside. It was a lot crowded earlier, but it's kind of dying down now. There's only about half an hour left in the show. Oh, I found the mystery machine. And that's where all the people went. I think there's like a costume contest going on. Oh, the cosplay's still going on. One take, I can feel it. It's not going to happen. This time collecting all the Instagram stories from Comicopolis. I can't speak. Yup.